Alright, so I got a little leak. I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, a coolant leak. After doing a little bit of reading, I found out that there is a broken, there's a little plastic piece in here that gets broken pretty easily. Just some plastic junk. So I'm going to show you real quick. There's a screw here and a screw here. We're going to take those out. We're going to pop this right here off. There we go. And then this whole piece comes out like that. And right here you can see what I'm talking about. So under here, or right here, there's a leak. Okay, I was really glad to find out it was just this, because I was scared that it was a radiator, because I couldn't tell where the leak was coming from until I took this cowl off. If you look down here, you can see it's ran down the fan. You can see the residue from the antifreeze. This is kind of complicated here because this piece is all one massive assembly. This is pressed on. What I'm going to try to do is just keep this in place, and the other side looks like this. Keep both of these in place. Just remove this clamp here, this clamp here, and then I've got a piece of brake line that I'm going to put as this small piece connecting the two. That way hopefully it will never become brittle again and never pop again. So let me get the piece and get started. Okay, right here you can see the brake line I got. I'm just going to use the ends that are on there because they're flared out. I'm just going to leave these kind of out of the way of what I'm doing. If we look right here, you can see the size is 5/16 by 20. Now you can get a smaller rod, probably a 12-inch rod would work a little bit better. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this in a little ways into the hose, give it a little extra slack there, just because this is the one I bought. So I'm going to make it work, and hopefully it may even snap right into that holder there. We'll see. Then I'm going to take these clamps off and I'll put the piece in and fit it up, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, and just to prove what I was saying here, I barely touched this, just barely moving it around, and this plastic like completely shattered. Same thing on this end. I was just going to try to remove, you know, the piece of pipe there and or tube and just slide it out, and I loosened up all around here, you know, with a knife very carefully, but it just broke off. It's extremely brittle. Okay, and here's my solution. It's just a brake line. I was able to slide this piece out. Looks like this when it's broke up. There's a little tiny metal piece in there, kind of a nipple here on this, and this is what that plastic line was, with just a little metal piece just in the end for the connection. Pulled that out. I've got this on now. The flared end on this brake line is right here, so I've got it where this clamp is mating right to the flared end, hopefully to prevent any leakage. I've got to obviously test this out and make sure it's going to work. I don't know if this is the best solution. This is just a solution, and it might help you in a bind. This one wouldn't come out so well, so I ended up cutting a piece of the hose off. Again, mated this up right to the flare out on the nipple so that hopefully it does not leak. And it actually did fit right into the mounts here, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, the piece there is kind of weird, but I didn't want to cut it and end up having a bad end on the line, so I just left it like that. Hopefully that's going to fix my problem. I'm going to crank it up, let it run for a little while, get up to temperature, and then hopefully we won't have any more issues. I'm just glad the radiator is not cracked. Again, when I was looking and seeing a lot of this stuff down here, and at the time I couldn't tell exactly where it was coming from, thought it may be coming from the radiator. This is a very simple solution to a simple problem. I don't know why they used plastic for this line. It's not very smart, I wouldn't think, but anyway, solution. Hopefully that fixes a problem that you might have had.